Hi guys. So not really an international speaker, lah. It's just very, very near from Singapore. Okay, so my name is Priyangka. I'm sure many of y'all are looking forward for the MagicPod demo. So we have kept it at the end of the session, so to keep y'all engaged. Okay, so I'll start. Hi everyone, my name is Priyangka. I am MagicPod's product evangelist from Malaysia. It is wonderful to see all of you here today. We didn't expect this many people here, especially on a working day. And it's so nice to see all of you making time after work. That's great. And we have had a technical talk already. So my talk is going to be like more like a chill talk. Okay, we are going to touch a little bit on software testing. Many of y'all have already know what are the things that I'm going to speak. It's going to be a basic stuff. But as much as we go advanced, I think we have to keep in touch to the basic things also. So I'll be touching a few parts of software testing principles as well in my today's talk. So let's start. All right. So we have gathered here today not to just talk about testing, but about something bigger, trust. Every product we build is essentially a promise to our users, a promise that it will work, a promise that it will make their lives easier, and a promise that it won't break when they need it most. And who are the people standing in between the promise and the potential disaster? Testers, of course. We often hear people say testers are bug finders, but that's only half the truth. What we really do is we build confidence. We give assurance that the software is ready for the real world. And that confidence doesn't come from perfection, because here's the truth that sits at the heart of our profession. Exhaustive testing is impossible. We cannot test every single path, we cannot test every single combination, and we cannot test every single data. If we ever tried, we would never release anything. But what we can do is we test what matters the most. We prioritize, we assess risk, and we think like users. So how do we know what to test? That's where risk-based testing comes in. Instead of spreading ourselves thin trying to test everything, we ask, what's the most critical flow? Where would a failure hurt the most? What parts of the system are new or fragile? By focusing our energy where the risk is highest, we protect the area that matters most to business and to our users. We also use techniques like equivalence partitioning, grouping data into sets so we don't have to test every single input, but we still cover the behavior, or boundary value testing. And then there's exploratory testing, where we set aside the script and just play with the system the way a real user might, because users don't always follow a script or the happy path. So what makes a tester valuable? It's not just about clicking through screens or writing bug reports. It's about mindset. We are curious. We are always asking questions. We are always asking our what ifs, how, and whys. We are skeptical. We are never taking requirements at face value. We are, of course, creative because we have to imagine how real users would interact with our system. And above all, we are relentless. We don't settle for, but it works on my machine. So let me just share with you a real story, a hard-learned lesson during the first few years of my testing experience. One that taught me more than any training or workshop ever could. We were working on a new implementation that involved handling different categories. The requirements listed two groups, Singapore citizens and foreigners. Naturally, we designed our test cases for those two categories only. Everything passed, we went live with confidence, and then the issues started coming in. A group of users couldn't proceed with the feature that we implemented. Who were they? Permanent residents, PRs. PRs weren't mentioned anywhere in the requirements. They weren't brought up in any refinement session. And us, the testers, and me, being the new tester, didn't know they existed as a separate category. And because the code logic only accounted for citizens and foreigners, PRs simply fell through the cracks. The perception, of course, was testing team missed this, huh? And I'll be honest, it stung, it hurt, because we had our job done. We tested exactly what was written down. But that was the problem. The requirements themselves were incomplete, and no one questioned it deeply enough. That incident became a turning point for me. It taught me testing is more than executing requirements. Who's left out? What happens if a user doesn't fit into these categories? Our job isn't just to follow a script. It is to uncover unspoken assumptions that others might have overlooked. After that incident, I made it a personal habit to challenge requirements more deeply. In every discussion, I started asking simple but powerful questions, which sometimes ended up taking more time, and we ended up refining the requirements. Who are the exceptions? Are we sure we are covering everyone? What about the edge test cases? Over time, stakeholders and the team, started seeing the value of QA, and instead of saying testing missed this, they begin saying, let's get QA in early so we don't miss all these kind of things. And this is where collaboration comes in. Testing doesn't happen in isolation. It's not QA versus development. It's QA with development, QA with business team, QA with support team. When testing fails, it's not just the tester's failure, it's the team's. And when testing succeeds, it's a team success. We build trust together. So now let's talk about something more current. AI in testing. There's no denying that AI is changing our industry. We now have tools that can auto-generate test cases, predict area of risk, and even write automation script. That's powerful. It helps us move faster, it reduces repetitive work, and it gives us new insight. But here's the reality. AI is not a silver bullet. AI has limitation. It can hallucinate. It can produce test cases that look convincing with all the long sentence, but it's completely wrong. It has no real contextual understanding. It doesn't know the business the way we do. It doesn't understand, in my case, what was a PR and why it matters. It won't raise hand in meeting and say, we missed these kind of things. And AI also works on patterns from the past. But many things, many bugs, comes from the unexpected. The thing that doesn't follow the pattern. And that's where human testers shine. Our value isn't just in execution, it's in judgment. It's in questioning and in connecting the dots the machines can't. So the future isn't about testers being replaced, it's about testers becoming even more critical. AI will handle the repetitive and the predictable, but we as testers, the voice of the user, the guardians of trust, the one who should challenge assumption and spot the risk that others miss. So we are already in the end of the slide. So let me leave you with this thought. Testing is not about finding every bug. Testing is not about perfection. Testing is about confidence. And as much as we'd love to, we cannot test everything. Exhaustive testing is impossible. And that's exactly why our judgment, our questions, our perspective matters so much. We are not just bug hunters, we are storytellers of risk. We are advocates for the user, and we are the one who make sure that the promise we make as a company, and it's not broken when users trust us with their time, with their money, and their data. Because at the end of the day, software testing is not about code, it's about people. That's all from me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's time for the questions.
Hey, thanks for yep.
Hi.
So I like that line where you said, if it's a software failure, it's a team responsibility, and if it's a software failure, it's a team success. So, how do you encourage the developers and the other product owners and the shareholders to have a shared responsibility or the ownership of the quality?
Okay, that's a good question. So, as what I said, uh, it's a team collaboration, which means we need to have the team as a whole from the beginning. that itself will already reduce so many issues, because we are in the same mindset from the beginning. Nobody is left out. Nobody is not knowing what is happening. Even if there's in a tester team, if there's only one tester present in a requirement session, that is already good enough, because we know what is already going on. That is not having anybody left out is already a huge thing. And of course, having the testers know the technical side of how everything works is also going to be a big win, because we are going to know where we can spot more bugs. And yeah, that is also a shared responsibility from the developer side to have us more towards technical side as well. So yeah, I hope that answers the question.